Welcome everyone back to All About the Orville comments, where we go through our comment sections on the episode before. That would be episode 9. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
And 15 PCA.
And just to start out with this episode, we actually honestly thought, wow, it's going to be such a funny episode.
Well, yeah, I thought we'd have fun time in the comic section, but boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, there was some rape allegations and the talking about, well, Derulo really raped Kelly, and then we're like, there was people who brought this up, John Holland, Vlad Drak II, Toma02, a couple other commenters. And just so we answer all those all at the same time, because we're going to be repeating ourselves a lot if we don't.
Yep.
I don't believe it was rape, because we're applying human to that's his alien race. And you could tell from him, he wasn't aggressive.
No.
That's just how they do it on their planet. That's just...
And we saw Layak about it. It's not so. That was even taking off Mercer at the beginning of the episode. That's his race. That's how they are. Like, we'll go with the flow kind of
Yeah,
race.
like I said, to them, to his people, I guarantee you, like having sex is like having a cup of coffee with someone.
Yeah.
It's just the nice thing to do.
Yep.
Even he said, it's rude to turn down sex.
Yeah.
So his thing's like, sex makes you happy. It feels good. Why wouldn't you want to do it? There's no malice in what he was doing.
No,
yeah, probably honestly thought he was doing a good thing.
Yeah, he thought it would relieve tension.
Yeah, he probably thought, if I get Mercer to relax a little bit and we have sex, we could be friends. That's just how it... So there's a lot of comments in here about, was it rape? And then there's a lot of back and forth. All those comments are there if you guys want to see them. But without having to sit there and re-explain our position on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't think it's rape. No.
Because in the end, how they reacted, like, okay, it was a thing, we're done with it. Okay,
yeah.
It happened.
Everyone was an adult and a willing participant.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, if Derulo would have been like going in her room and like kept pushing the pheromones on her, and it wasn't like that.
Everything was official capacity.
Yeah.
And she went to go see him, actually, and just break it off. And I think those pheromones...
And that's the thing. Is this pheromone 100% guaranteed? Does it work no matter what? Or do you have to honestly have some type of feelings?
I think it was what you were saying in the last podcast, Crimson, when it comes to this Orville episode. And I think the feelings you have opposite is the ones you'll be just as strong.
Like it even made it even stronger.
Yeah, with Mercer. It was so... Because he hated him so much, it just made it turn into... I guess parent-related love, I guess.
So, we're not intentionally ignoring other people's comments, but I just don't feel like we're going to be constantly repeating ourselves if we keep talking about...
And I think I love old school humor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I like the Richard Pryor. I like, George Carlin.
The National Lampoons, the old ones.
Those kind of just very non-PC, very non-political stuff.
Yeah.
I just how I am.
They laugh in the face of all that kind of stuff. We can tell a joke about
Red
anything.
Skelton, if I want to go a little further, even further than that, Lenny Bruce, I can go into those comedians.
That's why I think I ruffled a lot of people's feathers.
Yeah.
But again, you have to realize, guys, mostly this was a comedic episode.
Yeah, that's why we didn't get into much in the Crimson. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about some aspects later, but yeah.
So, going into we start at the top comment, and Scoldworm had the top comment this week. I'd like to point out Seth's performance in this episode. People have accused him of not being able to act. But this episode, he was happy, angry, sad, upset, jealous, in love, nonchalant, serious, playful, childish. That's one hell of a range. And I agree. Seth was all over the place, and it was all believable.
Oh, he nailed it. It was so good.
I just love it when he was so pissed off. I'm going to go fire him. He just runs down there like, what do you mean fire him? You're out of here. Get your stuff. And then he starts liking him again, and he acts like a 10-year-old girl who just got her first boyfriend and doesn't even know what to do.
Rachel, why do they say that? I don't ever say things like that. What's wrong with you? Just go.
Yeah, it's about, does he like me? Like, it's just... And it was everywhere. Every emotion a human being could possibly have, he pretty much had every single one of them.
Definitely.
So I definitely agree. Seth did a great job in this episode.
Oh, I mean, it really showed us he's more than just a comedic writer and comedian. He can actually has range and do other, different, things within the genre of Hollywood, acting and stuff.
And then I wonder if any of you guys can answer this. Same commenter, Scoldworm's like the elevator guy. Remember that alien guy?
I love that guy.
He's he amused me the most. Also, is it just me or did he sound like Cleveland Brown from the Family Guy? I don't know if it was the same guy, the guy who does the voice for Cleveland.
I don't know. I didn't look it up. Maybe we should have, but I didn't look it up. So I might have saw this comment earlier when I was looking at the comment section, but I don't think it is. Correct us if we're wrong. I'm not sure though.
But the thing is, Seth has so many friends that he can just bring in and do little bit parts like that. That elevator guy,
he takes care of his friends. That's one thing about my father. If you have any talent, he won't forget you if you did something from the past.
The cool thing is about this episode, it's such a funny episode. Even that little side thing with the elevators was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so stupid, and this guy doesn't know what's going on with the captain and Mercer, with Mercer and Kelly. And then he's just like, hey, just trying to make small talk, and everyone's like, we want to talk to you right now. The bit came up.
Maybe get the point that when he was there in the third time when they got really back, I was like, okay, do you just go up and down the elevator? your job. But it's not your job to do this.
And it's like that long elevator ride, and
Yeah.
everyone's just kind of standing there.
Yeah, eventually the music gets on there. Goes, oh, you like this music? You can pick your own music if you want me to ask the guy. Okay, no one cares about the elevator music.
See, but that joke would have been the best joke in another episode.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many good jokes.
Yeah, it's just an okay joke because the other ones are just so funny. Oh,
That's great.
jeez.
So-
I'm thinking about it again.
So we got Cinderfang. The blue guy is Bombado. Solves everything with sex. Yeah, you know what's so funny? It's just one of those. His whole race, just from the way he's acting, I imagine their whole race is very.
I'm assuming they're like this.
Laid back and hell, why don't we just we can have sex? It feels good, and just like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I just think this whole race is probably like that. That whole.
I'm assuming, I don't think they're so nonchalant about it. It's no big deal.
And then we got kind of more into another conversation with 360 Whiplash. I would have liked the episode better without all the gay undertones. And my answer to that was undertones, more like overtones. It was whatever the gayness of the episode, if that's even a thing, was so over the top, but it was funny.
But it was funny for jokes. It wasn't meant to be serious or malice in any way.
Yeah, and then there's a big thing going back and forth on that. That's the thing. It wasn't like some people would kind of say, I'm not saying you're saying this, but some people, they're pushing the gay agenda or whatever. I just saw it as comedy.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Because it was done so over the top. How can you see any other way but that? It wasn't like to say any kind of other point or angle to it. I mean, it was saying we can make fun of things like that. As long as we're not serious and you're just having fun with it, what's the problem? I mean, I'm more like the rule in that sense. Hey, can't we just be kind of nonchalant about it? I'm
And this one comment has I'm looking through about 13 responses,
Oh,
and there was
wow.
because then people talking about it's really funny when people rape people, and then that whole rape thing. So
Oh,
we already addressed that in the beginning, but all of it's there if you guys want to go through and read it. A lot of people thought it was just funny, it's just jokes, and that's how we
exactly.
saw it too. And then like how I asked, should Mercer forgive Kelly? And then we have I cannot say your username. ULLIISSESS. Ulysses. I want to say Ulysses, but that's probably wrong. Mercer forgives Kelly for sure. If she had no control and it was that pheromone thing, but we don't know for sure.
But it's kind of funny if that were the case, because in the next week's episode, they're talking about the situation and they go, well, it's like marriage, like hell being marriage. It's like, well, did he really forgive her? If they're talking about that, I mean, at that point, it's weird he does, but then he doesn't. I don't know. I think I'm kind of 50-50. I don't know if Mercy fully has.
I think it's going to take him a while.
Yeah.
But then we have Timothy Nelson. Wow, that's nuts. Rob Lowe is fantastic. Now the relationship can actually heal. Just wow, so crazy. That's the thing. I think the relationship was healing, but I don't know if they'll ever be together again.
I think Kelly would in a heartbeat, but Mercer will never trust
if Mercer came up to Kelly and said, I think we need to work things out, we can make it work, I think she would want to.
Yeah.
But I feel, is she doing it out of guilt, or does she actually truly have feelings
I think
for
she
him again?
does care for it, and now I think the fact she realized Derulo was influencing her, maybe she's even more like, oh, now I really feel like maybe we should be together, but we'll see.
Then we have Jerry Berglund. I'm sorry if I missay your name. I just love those elevator scenes, by the way. Ha ha ha. Yeah, the elevator scenes, they were just because it broke up the tension.
Yeah.
And it was just like we said before, there's just like a funny little scene and you're trapped in there.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta do not say anything. So you're just there and it's just bringing up stupid stuff. Like, it was I thought the elevator scenes really did break up whatever tension that was going
definitely
down.
Needed that.
And, okay, we got a long one right here. Shannon Rasmussen? I'm sorry again. I put the names up there so you guys can read them yourself. I'm terrible with names. But as for the poll, I think Derulo was not in heat when Kelly cheated on Ed with him. I'm not 100% sure, but earlier in the show when Kelly talked about him, it sounded like she had been with him for a while before getting caught by Ed. He's caring and actually listens and is sensitive to my needs and blah, blah, blah. If the effects of the pheromones are temporary, Kelly would not have described him in a way years after the fact. And when they do get caught, Kelly immediately goes after Ed, where in this episode, a warrior isn't serious enough to separate Ed and Kelly from Derulo for a significant amount of time. I could be wrong, however. It is easy to argue the other side, but just my interpretation of the whole debacle. I can't really disagree with that.
But the only thing I can say is maybe Kelly let on because Mercer divorced. He's like, well, forget it. I really did like him. It could be one of those
I'm thinking he was like he's such a laid back guy. He's probably so easy to get along with. So he listens to me and like that. He probably does that for everyone.
Oh yeah.
He probably literally will sit there and listen to all your concerns and needs because he's that kind of guy.
I could tell from what the first episode and what we know now about Mercer, like maybe early on he was more career driven.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to be a captain so bad. I'm assuming that's what it was.
And then this was like this marriage was falling apart long before she cheated on him.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving her any cover, but if that's the case, I can see that way.
That's a good point, but we still don't know. That's the thing, and then we don't know. That's going to be the mystery because we really didn't solve that mystery. By saying maybe, well, there you go.
And then we have Vlad Drac II. The sounds Borda starts to make as he's about to sing makes me think it's a good thing he got cut off. I don't know. We don't know. Maybe
I want to hear him. I think he's like a tenor. I'm pretty sure he's like a tenor.
I'm assuming like his race because like we tell that they're more like they're like the Klingons of this world. So it's going to be operatic. It's going to be loud and like booming. So it's probably very off-putting to everyone else. But he's going to sing Celine Dion. So I have no idea.
Can go. I wanted to hear it. Like, is this really happening? They're all like before it happens. But of course it doesn't happen. But it'd been funny if it did because I like Boris. He's a cool character.
Yeah, he's a fun character because he's the straight guy of all the craziness. He doesn't do crazy things. Everyone else does crazy things around him.
It makes it funny because his reactions to things that makes it great.
And even when someone's being crazy, he'll still be straight. Like when Mercer, you brought it up, like, oh, we need to have chips on the table, and it's like, I won't fail you.
Okay. Yeah, pretzels and water.
Yeah, you don't
worry, I won't fail you, sir. Okay, it's not a mission. It's just make sure you do it.
A mission to be hospitable. So we have Luke Jackson. This episode was the best. Orville has broken all records. It never disappoints me. It just keeps getting better and better, and I'm so tickled about it. Oh, and I hope that this will be the last time they write so much gayness into the show, and it can be as much. Here's the thing. I didn't necessarily dislike. I didn't see
because the situation with the jokes were so
silly.
funny. I didn't think of it as a serious thing, like they were putting anyone down, or I didn't feel any of that.
I love the show too. It's my favorite TV show right now on television.
Yeah, you guys might be surprised about this, but in terms of sci-fi, this might be my least favorite Orville episode.
Yeah, when it comes to science, because this was a comedy episode.
But if you want to talk about comedy, it's probably one of the best episodes
of all comedy episodes in sci-fi.
Especially this season, definitely. And for sci-fi, maybe of all time. So it depends where how you're grading it. So this is going to be a weird one to grade. So
yeah, it's weird because how do you? Okay, we're thinking about sci-fi shows. Well, this episode has to be crappy for sci-fi.
Yeah.
But you have to take into account that, it was really funny. So how does that fit into the listing if you're going to do like a top 10 or whatever?
Yeah, and like I said, and it was like unlike, Next Generation where they had episodes similar to this, but they stopped at that point. Yeah. This one, no, they go the whole way. There's no stopping.
They took the knob of funniness and wrapped it all the way
around, yep.
So our next comment kind of follows that same kind of thinking. So we have Phantom Knight. This one definitely pushed up the laughs per minute ratio. People throw around the rape word a little too loosely these days. This was a comedy episode, not the more serious ones that we've had lately. I suspect that the formula throw in a goofy one from time to time, and this was goofy. What would have put it over the top for me is if Alara had immediately vomited when she walked in on Claire and Pip. Again, good CGI and makeup. Sis acting has gotten much better since the pilot. It's nice to see the full ensemble cast in one episode. You get the sense of the cast is actually friends off camera too, unlike STD, Star Trek Discovery, for those who don't know the acronym. And yes, this puts an end to the Ed Kelly back and forth, but they won't get back together. In the second episode, they covered why they don't think they don't work in as a marriage. Durilio likely was in heat the time that the infidelity. Best guess, maybe 18 months ago. It's every year. How long a year on respite? It's exactly, when he says once a year, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because a year to humans on Earth is different from, let's say, a year on his planet.
Well, it's funny because, like, the Palm Far 7 years, so wow, guys, every year. Like, that's kind of close.
Well, but again, like how animals do go into heat every year. So,
true.
Technically, I guess that's the thing. And like you brought up, I'm glad like the whole cast was involved.
Yeah.
So, even though we didn't get to see a lot of, let's say, like Isaac, he was still there to do something.
Oh, yeah, he was. But what's so funny about that, though, like you say, like, there's just such a great ensemble cast, like you see every other character, which is kind of cool, but also interesting, like when you look at like just the different races, how like they didn't even know that this race does that, because that tells you how vast the Union is. They don't know all the things about these other cultures.
And then we see tons of different kinds of aliens on the ship coming on and off, and then like these two alien races we just met the first time in this episode. So it's probably so much. I don't know, a lot of people brought that up. Well, how could they not know? Do you know what every animal does on this planet? You live on the same planet, don't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah, there's got to be. I'm assuming the Union has hundreds and hundreds of maybe 1,000
different
planets,
kinds of
cultures. You're not going to know these different races and all everything they do. So I find that interesting. Like I can understand why they wouldn't know.
And that's not something you kind of like, I want to learn the sex procedures of this race. Come to yours.
Unless you're like some high-end, person that studies that, I guess. Interspecies mating and sex species, I guess.
So we have Janet Smith. This sort of reminds me of the DS9 episode, Vaccination with Luxwana.
Mm-hmm.
Has a disease which telepathically causes everyone to become attracted to people they normally wouldn't. And yeah, like we said, like they did touch on these types of things in other...
Well, the difference is it was an attraction people had, but on a subconscious level they wouldn't admit. That's why Dax was attracted to Cisco, because she sees him as, Cisco calls her the old man, but she does care about him. But she goes, I can't do that because he's my old friend from my previous life. So, yeah, I could see that. So,
again, this was brought up. We brought this up, and then there's a little conversation here about this. Red Spawn Silver says it was supposed to imitate the dumb conflict of the Israeli and Palestinians, and how maybe if the leaders of those countries would put some aside of their testosterone for a minute, the conflict would end. I like how they integrated Rob freaking Lowe into tell the story. Pure genius. A+ on the episode and C on the review. You guys need to catch up on the innuendos.
We mentioned that.
We did mention that. But here's the thing, though.
That wasn't about that.
Without getting too political, Israel has offered peace, land for peace every time.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't two sides butting heads. This is one side wanting to wipe out the other side, and the other side wanting peace.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I have to this is my quote, but I just don't want to get political, but this is 100% truth. If Israel would say, we're not going to defend ourselves, we want peace, and we won't fight back, they would be slaughtered the very next day.
Yes, they would be.
If the Palestinian says, we're throwing away our weapons, we won't fight, we want peace, there'd be peace the next day.
Yes.
That's the truth, and no one can say that it'd be different.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
It's not two, knuckleheads butting heads. No, it's one side fighting for existence, and the other side literally want to wipe them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's why we didn't want to get into it, but that's how I feel, too.
Yeah, that's the God honest truth, but I don't like trying to get it's about the Palestinians.
Because that wasn't what the episode's about anyways.
If there was no funny in this episode,
then yes.
The episode was meant to be comedic.
Yeah.
And basically, everything else was a framing device.
Yep.
So, Attack Helicopter says, I really wanted to hear Boer singing. I bet he sings wonderful like a tenor. But yeah, I died laughing for the first minutes already. Yeah, it was... They started out with jokes and it never stopped.
Yeah, and we were noticing the last previous two episodes, like, wow, the jokes are like maybe one or two. Boy, they came back with a vengeance in this episode. That's what makes it great. Oh, when he gets to cologne, he walks through.
He sprays it in the air and he does a little man dance. What
I just like Malloy's look. I just think about his look. He's like, what's going on?
And he's like not judging. He's just asking questions like, huh?
Oh, a box. What do you mean a box? You just put labels on everything. Because they're words. I don't know. Oh, God, it's great.
Kenneth Ferland said, if Kelly had been under the pheromones the first time she cheated, then she would have not felt guilty over cheating and would have just remained hopelessly in love with Derulio, so I think not. And that's a good point. The other commenter brought that up. They were so in love with Derulio that they weren't even going to leave their quarters.
No.
But she didn't seem that so in love with Derulio during that time, so was he using... See, it's one of those things, like, we don't know. Are they ever going to answer it? Probably not, but...
Well, we didn't see the whole detail of what she did, though, either.
Yeah.
We just got a snippet of it.
You just got the snippet.
But the best part is Kelly in the room. She's out there.
She's all eating chocolate cake or something.
She's got the little beady eyes all depressed. So sad. I love it. That was too funny.
Trova? I feel like this episode was 33% laughter, and I'm okay with this. I thought it was like 95%.
Oh, it was all laughing. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, this is one of you. I'm honestly laughing out loud. Even just rethinking about the jokes is making me smile and laugh. That's how.
And
funny.
Again, like I said, it all works because you care about the characters. If you did in Discovery, you'd get annoyed because you don't care about the characters. That is the premise for something like this to work. That's why this couldn't be a first episode or second. No, it had to be a later episode of the season.
And again, same comments again. Just trying to so we're not trying to gloss over everything. But Jerry Berglund said, just to warn you guys, you like an episode that also I like a lot, laughed a lot. But there are quite many more thinking that it was no joke. This was about rape and no consent. I don't know if the episode is sort of a black satire, which is okay for just 20 years ago, but today people don't get it. Keep up the good work. And that's the thing. We brought it up 20 years ago. Yeah, it's just super funny. And I just see things as funny.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I think of a lens of maybe 20 years ago, like you said. I don't think in these lenses of how people want to perceive things now.
And the way I look at intent. Yeah. What was the intent of the episode?
It was
to make you laugh.
Yeah.
The intent wasn't try to sneak in this weird rape thing and because they would have handled it differently.
Literally, if there were no jokes, and Duro, like I said, was sneaking around Mercer's place, sneaking around Kelly, trying to get them to touch him, and he's all creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd be a different thing to it. Then I'd say, oh yeah, this is dark, I wouldn't be laughing. But that's not how it was presented at all.
Yeah, and again, so we're not always repeating yourself
Yeah.
that, you know, we like old stuff. We love old comedy. I think you should be allowed to make fun of anything at any time.
Yeah.
Hey, is it crass and I don't like that joke or something? Hey, guess what? But you should be allowed to make that joke.
Yep,
And you shouldn't be internet punished for it.
No.
Yeah, you didn't get too many downvotes. You had to go to your apology
majority rule.
tour.
I
Yeah.
think about the majority rule. I still love that episode. So great.
So, Michael Aaron, 1701. This episode feels like a next generation Sherrick meets NTG the Naked Now. I really am impressed with the growth of Alara from this episode. Before, like command performance, and Priya, where she was scared of her situation, to now straight up taking a stand. I actually was afraid that she took up a stand against Aurelio, somehow affecting the captain and the first officer. She too would have get swayed, but she was a commanding officer, security officer. I think she did a super good job, Alara,
Yeah, she
because
did.
she almost got to the point where, okay, Aurelio, I'm going to hurt you until you tell me what's going to happen, because this war is happening and you're just so nonchalant, it's pissing me off, and just tell me what's happening.
She's probably thinking it's probably a race, but I don't care. I need answers. Why are they acting this way? Why is Finn acting like that with Yemchek? She hates the guy. What's going on?
And she's the head of security, and she did security things.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike other security officers in other shows that don't do whatever.
Yeah, either they're coward and scared from previous things, or they get eaten up by monsters. War monsters. When they didn't have to be.
So we have POTUS Pinball, so President of the United States of Pinball. Would have liked this episode better without all the tall people undertones. I don't know if that's a reference to something. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Like, is that a joke or something?
Well, the aliens were tall, but I know you're being silly.
Yeah,
but I guess you're just trying to be silly. So we'll take it as that. Thanks for the comedy little fun there. I like it, but...
So,
if it wasn't, I'm sorry I didn't get it. Okay, by the way.
So we have Star Trek nitpickers. That's what people call us. Derulio really wanted to be in the Blue Man Group, but he made it into he made his career into space. He kind of got the blues, but if you ask me, it ain't easy being green. Oh yeah, too many puns, so many puns in your post. But
that's funny.
Yeah, I love the makeup job. I thought
Oh,
looked, again, everyone looks cool.
But it's so funny because I think it was the first one, but I didn't have enough time to notice it. But after the first few minutes, I go, that's Rob Lowe. I'm looking like, that's Rob Lowe. Good job. I didn't recognize you at first.
And Rob Lowe, again, other commenters say Rob Lowe did a great job. He did a really, really good job. He was funny. Because he just plays that really cool, sit back kind of guy. Like, come on, let's all get together, you know?
Yeah, he really nailed it. That was great.
So, Jeffrey Grimm, maybe the box just wants to do its own thing. Have you ever thought of that? I laughed my box off on this episode. Never changed from the serious. Nice change from the serious stuff. Well done. Yeah, I'm glad we had a good comedy episode. Because the last two episodes were kind of heavy.
Yeah, which I didn't mind. I loved them, but yeah, exactly. We're like, oh man, that person died. Okay, oh wow, this is kind of intense. It's a little different when you destroy a ship, and they're gone, and like shooting somebody. Okay?
Yeah, they're right there, and you see them
right
in
front
your
of you.
face.
Yeah, a little bit more visceral.
Again, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name, but Wylan Ben Ali? I would love if Rob Lowe's character to really join the ship's crew. I think a little too much because of everything that's happened.
No way, I don't think too much history.
Would I like to see him again in another episode? Sure, but not as a recurring
But I think
character.
now they're going to be ready. Okay, let's not touch him. Okay, if you can be a
Wear gloves, damn it.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
So Marcus says, Blue Guy could have learned a bit, and the smirk, and maybe just in the spirit of making up for the mistakes, or basically the trouble caused in the episode. But if their union species shouldn't it have been well known, the heat thing, wouldn't it then not be Kelly's first line of defense once it happened? Also, she shouldn't have got off the hook. Yes, if he was in heat, then she's innocent for the urge to have sex with the guy. But Kelly has named reasons for cheating too, so they would have happened one way or another. Apparently, if there's been a guy to hook up at the time for her. But she can make it up, and she's doing a really good job too, especially in the time was an excuse. But I don't know. Maybe she intended it just to be a victim, just as Ed, which should make the Blue Guy a true villain. That's the thing. I think intent.
Okay, but here's the thing, guys. Another point I want to make, and I just thought of it now as you're talking about it. Okay, the Earth met Vulcans in 2063. And I remember in an episode of Voyager, which is almost 300 plus years later, only a handful of doctors have seen the Pomfar up and close, the Federation doctors. And they've known the Vulcans for 300 years. They don't know everything about the Pomfar. So what made you think they're going to know about this race?
Exactly.
I mean, you have to look at it that way, too.
We're not going to know everything. But again, you know, in the space of the Vulcans, it was almost like an embarrassment.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but Derulo is almost like they're flaunting.
No, I know that's different. But I'm just saying in terms of knowing it, though.
Yeah, it being a wildly known thing.
Exactly.
But like you brought up, like I even said this, like their marriage was falling apart before she even met Derulio. So that was just like the final tipping point. And if he wasn't that made it even more successful.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like she even said, even though she was an influence, like, Derulio's the type of guy, that he's so interesting. And Mercer's the type of guy, he'd go buy, bagels and like, other things for you. I'm not going to mention
he'd go to the store.
Project, and he makes me laugh. So that's the difference between those two.
So, Alt Ori, again, I apologize for the name. One of the funniest episodes by far. Didn't like the fact that they conveniently wrote in Derulio's Cupid effect to excuse Kelly of having cheated on Ed. I have my own opinion on that, but it's quite annoying that's the route the writers took in an attempt for Ed and his ex-wife to get back together. I think they have come to an understanding, but I don't really think they'll ever get married again. I don't think it'll ever happen.
But you have to look at it this way. If they didn't do that and Derulio's people didn't have that, this series wouldn't have been as funny. This episode would have been a lot darker and a lot more odd and uncomfortable. And I don't think I wanted to go that direction.
Yeah, I'm glad they took the funny route. I know for storytelling reasons, it's it's an excuse for her, but
But I didn't know that McFarlane didn't have this plan from the beginning, too, though. I mean,
it's
only the first season. This is season 5 he came up with this, I mean, it's plausible that he had the idea Derulio was going to be like this in the beginning. So it makes did he? Did she know? Was she influenced? Was she not? So
we have Mr. Sky 888. Or 888. This is the best episode yet. The Orville just keeps getting better and better. The humor in this episode was great, not forced or out of place. They were starting to hit a perfect balance of humor, stories, serious topics, and sci-fi goodness. The characters are all great, and I'm really starting to love this show. It started out pretty good, and the last few episodes have broken the barrier into true greatness. Seth is really good in this one, too. Made me laugh many times. Yeah, it's just...
There you go.
I have yet, again, like I said, it's every week. This has been my mantra. I'm still waiting for that bad episode.
Yeah.
This just hasn't happened yet.
No, exactly. I mean, if you want to really be nitpicking, as a first sci-fi episode, this episode's maybe a 7.5. The one on the Conning was maybe a 7. Those are still positive.
Still good episodes.
Still in the positives, yeah.
It just, Seth is acting as Mercer. I think we're starting to fall in love with Mercer more.
I am too.
He's such a fun character. I love him. And he's also a good captain, too. He's not just a silly dummy. He actually is a good captain.
Yeah, actually, I want to even look in. I don't know how the cosplay is him at the upcoming one of these upcoming adventures I go to, because I just wanted to.
It's a pretty simple pattern.
Yeah.
We'll see. I guarantee you the good next year during the summer events for all the cons, I guarantee you, though, there's going to be panels.
Yeah.
There's going to be some cosplay.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to have a
merchandise.
Oh, yeah, I'll buy some Marvel merchandise. You better believe it. I'm excited for it.
So, Wilford Hancock. When I watched this episode, I was laughing my A off. It's a great episode, in my opinion. Considering that the other 2 episodes were serious, it was time for humor. I'm beginning to feel that Kelly is somewhat caught up with Derulio, the blue guy, when he was in heat, as explained to Alara. I'm kind of feeling sorry for Kelly and think Captain Mercer might want to reconsider Kelly wasn't really at fault. Considering Captain Mercer slept with Derulio, I think Kelly gets a pass for forgiveness. I love the elevator music joke also. As for Yampit, he finally had sex with Dr. Finn. I wonder if the end of the season if Captain Mercer will propose to Kelly. As in the resolution for the ambassador, hilariously, I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I don't know if I want them to get back together. I kind of want him
dynamic. I like it the way it is.
I want him to forgive her and then Zolstan to truly get past it and just leave it at that, because I don't know if they can.
Here's the thing: if they get married, and I know hopefully it's a long, long, long way, it's at the last episode of the series. Yeah. It's got to be at the very end. It can't be before that.
And then you get an epilogue, and you see maybe they have kids or something like that. But I don't want it during the show.
I'm hoping this series lasts 8-9 seasons. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't mind a spinoff. I know it's super early. It wouldn't bother me.
And just thinking about that, the show that was supposed to be a spinoff of Trek will get its own spinoff. So how was that supposed to happen?
Because it's so good. Yeah, it's so well done.
It's so well written. So, Celophanity Frog. The Orville is going to sway from serious episode to more comedic ones. Next Generation did the same thing, actually, not to the extremes that the Orville takes, and it is serious. Next Generation episode had absolutely no humor, all drama. And while there's always some humor sprinkled into the Orville episodes, even the serious ones, Into the Fold was a serious story, but we still got the glory hole joke and the game will never be spoken of again joke. In my honest opinion, Cupid's Dagger was the Orville's version of Naked Time, the original series, and the Naked Now, Next Generation, but a lot more funny and a lot less boring than those episodes. And unlike those 2 shows, there were actual consequences in the story that would affect the crew's future arcs, showing that Kelly may not have been responsible for her actions in the pilot goes a long way towards repairing her image and her relationship issues between her and the captain. So maybe we can stop going back to the bitterness between them, and which is rather annoying. I hope they don't get back together till the final episode of the series, because I don't want the show to be about their relationship. There you go. We literally just said that, and there you go.
I swear, I did not read your comment. I was just thinking off the top of my head, but that's amazing. Though.
I'm liking your comment right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of want it to happen at the end.
Another thing I noticed we didn't talk about at the end, when he said maybe he left, and I saw Kelly looking at Mercer, kind of looked like, see? Well, look, maybe it wasn't me. And Mercer kind of looked like, maybe.
Because he slept with him, too.
Yeah, exactly.
They both had to go to bat with Derulio to fix the relationship.
He heals all.
Yeah, again, you sleep with Derulio, it fixes your problems. I'm promising you, man.
What happens usually in his words? Yeah, we just have sex. That's what happens in this situation.
So, Cross here on the next comment. As much as I love the show, they need some variations to the Union ships. They all look the same, just different sizes. Also, the blue guy is a huge D word, like he should known when his species goes into heat and avoid physical contact. However, he decides to shake hands with people, and then in the end, if he doesn't even give a legit answer if it was in heat back then. Like I said, if this was a human being that had this power, yeah, this person would probably be a rapist and thrown in jail. But this isn't a human.
And plus, he's the only one that can, probably archaeologists that can look at this pottery.
In that situation.
In that situation, they needed him. It's not like, it was a normal mission. They needed the guy.
It's not like he said, you know what, I need to find a way to get back on the Orville. No. There was no malice in anything that he did.
Exactly.
And that has to be put into account.
Yeah, you have to remember, it's a different alien species. Like I said, the way he acted, the way they are, I don't see that this was malevolence. There was no maliciousness there.
Yeah. So, and again, your comment about the Union ships, I think that's like a budget thing. So the ships can't look wildly different. But also, if you think about it, I mean, if I showed you 3 Nimitz-class battleships, aircraft carriers, they're all going to kind of look the same.
I'm pretty sure next season we'll get some variation, I guarantee you. Because once this is as much of a hit this is, they'll get a bigger budget and they'll be able to vary the ships. But it's not really bothering me. I like the bigger ships. They look cool. I like them.
Yeah. It goes to show you how small the Orville actually is.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you see, like, the big battle cruisers, like, dang, you could fit 100 of these Orvilles in that thing.
Oh, yeah, that thing is massive. It's so cool, though.
And I like the smoothness. Everything's kind of round, teardrop shaped. I think they're cool looking.
And the little rings, like some only have 2, some have 3.
Yeah, the little warp engine ringy things.
Which are such a cool effect. When it goes shoom, shoom, and lights up and then goes, that's so cool.
Terry James says, the aliens with the Klingon bathlets for ears, or maybe that's a headdress. I don't know. Do you think that was bone? Or was it like a ceremonial thing?
It was bone. That would be cool if it was like
if it's actually part of their body.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I think that Yamfit, brilliant and so funny. Whatever review I go to, I once again almost pee myself laughing at the clips of the still shows. Just to point at Derulio, he's not a human, so really human rape sensibilities shouldn't really apply. Same for Doctor and Yamfit's storyline, so take it at face value and enjoy the comedy of it. This was a superb episode with every English humor, and the guy with the weird eyes, Captain Porley from Garrison Anderson's 94 show Space Precinct, starring Trek Shackelford. P.S. The next episode is apparently called Firestorm, another Gary Anderson tie-in with his son, Jamie Anderson. Oh. Has been working on this one, and his late father ideals come from Firestorm a couple of years from now. I love the fact that there's so much sci-fi people working on the show, being a part of the show, actors that have been in other shows. I love that.
McFarlane's very inclusive, and you can tell by the way the writers and how many different people he's had on the show that done the sci-fi things. Unlike other shows that seem very exclusive and kicking people out of their little clubs. I'm not saying Discovery, but I am saying Discovery.
Yeah, it's, and again, I think the rape sensibilities, I'm like, again, like you said, just take it for the comedy of it. It wasn't meant to try to, this wasn't the episode to make you think about that kind of stuff. This was the episode to make you laugh. Yeah. And it did a good job.
It did an excellent job.
That aspect of it was, again, like we said, one of the funniest things I've seen on TV in a long time.
Oh, it's great.
Jonathan Earl, this was my least favorite episode. It was okay with the Orville up until this episode for my forte. Every show today feels like it's the forcing same-sex relationships, LGBT, he forgot all the extra letters at the end of that one. The show doesn't push that too heavily to be a great show. I've got some heavy backlash for this comment, but it's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Like I said, I noticed that in a lot of shows too. Like, let's say Supergirl, for example. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's kind of heavy. They kind of push it heavy. In this episode, it wasn't. It was pushed for comedic value.
But that's how it used to be pushed. Not no more. Oh no, that's how it's got to be serious.
And
now.
the funny thing is, they weren't making fun of Mercer because he was acting gay. They were making fun of him because he was acting out of character.
Yeah, the situation, like, well, why are you doing this?
The fact he's so excited to go get drinks with the guy who slept with his ex-wife. Well, like, that's the joke, not the fact that, he's acting gay. They're trying to push a gay agenda. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it at all.
And trust me, I see that kind of stuff in a lot of shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really see it in this episode.
I am starting to respect him to the point where I think he's more like the comedic tone of like a Trey Parker from South Park. They make fun of everybody and make fun of everything. And that's the way it should be. Not just one side, not one just thing. I know that's not what this episode's about, but I mean in terms of, it doesn't matter if it's gay. They're just using it as a prop to tell jokes, and it's lighthearted. There's nothing like some malicious. I know I'm probably going in circles, but that's how I see it.
So our next comment, FCOLD. I think at the end, Derulo was trying to be nice to Kelly. When Kelly talks to Laura after having sex with him, she says that there is this intense sexual desire to be with him. It's like a drug. She then says the first time she was with Derulo, she was so concerned about Ed that she may have missed something. This says to me that she was not as obsessed with him last time. She didn't really have the intensity like a drug feeling. So I think she just cheated for normal human reasons last time.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Wow, you get the comment. That's the ultimate comment there.
See, that's the thing. But again, why didn't he just straight up tell her then? This is like the teleport device in the drawer. Why do we have this?
Maybe you know what's a good point. Now you bring me think about something. Maybe he said maybe because she wasn't, so he wants to give her hope that maybe she was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're just trying to say, maybe, but no, it wasn't. You didn't want to say that.
Same commenter. I have a low tolerance for cringe, so not an episode I need to see again, though. There were still good things. Alara remains a solid security officer that can take charge when necessary. Board is telling everyone to be silent, though I wanted the song. The elevator guy, Ed's first diplomatic meeting with the aliens, and saying they can have all the M&Ms. I wonder if M&Ms paid for that. Oh, and I like the random nurse guy getting an attaboy. This is an interesting episode to have at the moment, with Hollywood imploding under sexual harassment claims. I don't think that this episode had any kind of message. It just played for laughs, but at the fact that the guy did knowingly drug two people and take advantage of them, the blob guy also wasn't taking no for an answer and was annoying the doctor, and this was unaware that the drug was only his prior behavior was very problematic at the moment. And at the time of the stuff, that didn't make me raise my Mr. Spock eyebrow, but right this moment, maybe they should have moved this episode, though it's a good to get past the doctor and the blob. It didn't drug them as the fact that it's something in, like a drug is produced.
Yeah.
I don't know. However, I guess that's just a human way of saying it.
Okay, think about it. Okay, before she was infected by when Yempek was talking to Finn, it's just leave me alone. I'm gonna report you. He left her going. Okay,
yeah, he goes. I had to give him my best shot.
Yeah, and he let it go. So I guess there you could say at least he gave up.
Yeah, because all the other times she was probably trying to lay him down easy, and then she stood her ground and said, "You know what? If you do this again, I'm going to actually report you." He's like, okay, I'm sorry. I just thought I had to give my best romantic chance. Yeah. So I don't really. It wasn't like he was harassing her. Yeah. And to the point to where she said, "Okay, this is bothering me." She
kind of made it look like she wasn't trying to lead him on. She's trying to do like nicely.
And he just wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
So he said, "Okay, I'm done." He didn't keep pushing.
I kind of disagree with that point.
Yeah, and then the whole thing, like we mentioned before, with the human sensibility.
Yeah, we're kind of getting
So back to Scoldworm. I love to see the behind the scenes blooper reel for this episode. Filming it must have been insanely fun. That they're constantly cracking up, I bet. Yeah, you see that a lot where you tell a joke and even the person telling the joke is laughing because it's so stupid. Yeah. Especially the way that Captain Mercer was acting when he was wanting to go get drinks. He's just like ignoring the civil war that's going on.
I know. The analyst will get to you. Yeah, he's all waving the hand up behind him like you went like, oh, someone you care about.
Like he sees him and he's like, hey. It's so ridiculous.
And then he responds back. That's funny. No, but the thing is, though, guys, yeah, that was hilarious. But one thing the other guy said, the comment just above that saying, I only saw this episode once. I've already seen it 3 times. I might watch it again because it just makes me laugh.
It's super funny. It's just super. Yeah. If you want to laugh and this episode will, if it doesn't make you laugh, I don't know.
Yeah. You don't like my kind of humor. I don't know what else to say.
Scoldworm. Again, same commenter. The scene where Alara walked in on Yampin and the doctor cracked me up. That's the image that will stay with you forever. How would it look to a human and a blob are getting it on? Well, we all know now. It's just like, when he saw him, like, well, I guess she's kind of cocooning with it. It's like, I don't want to know.
Then like, Yevon can't even say anything. That's even makes it more disgusting. He's I don't know, helping her. Like, what's going on?
So our next comment, Billy Deerhead. I love how the show touched on a lot of different relationships in the episode, but I thought it ended too quickly. A lot of things got left sort of unresolved. I'm glad that the issue between Finn and Yampik got resolved, but it got severely unresolved because I could definitely see him continuing to hit on her, becoming a tired, stale joke, but if it kept going on for too long. But at the same time, that deep confession of his feelings was really genuine and made it clear that he wasn't looking for a one-night stand. So you can't help but feel bad for him when he gets rejected this time. Whereas every other time he was a whole issue was just a cute joke. As for Mercer and Kelly, I definitely think Kelly should get a pass for her affair given what we've learned in the episode. However, they can't deny that the relationship has never been ideal. So many times when you get put together for extended periods of times, they wind up arguing and bringing up unhappy parts of their marriage and things they didn't like about each other. Sleeping with Derulo may have put the final nail in the coffin, but their marriage was clearly had a lot of problems before he came along. I think the relationship was much more positive when they kept things professional. And speaking of Derulo, I think Rob Lowe was absolutely perfect. He does such a good job of playing a stuck-up douchebag that the audience can immediately hate the guy and be on Mercer's side, which really throws you for a loop when Mercer starts hitting on him. But more than anything else, I love how the episode kept these little glimpses of Bortus's family life slowly falling apart. Ever since About a Girl, I've been really interested to see how things between them have developed, but their problems seem to be more of a matter of Bortus' busy work schedule rather than the resentment over what happened in that episode. I know from experience that bringing up children into a relationship can put a lot of strain on the couple to find time for each other. It also seems to be more serious than the rest of the crew realizes. I hope things between them get better before they get worse. Oh, and I can't forget the line that really caught my attention in this episode. Isaac, the chief engineer, Newton. There's a lot of chance of the names with that coincidence. Yeah, that's what makes it really the Isaac. And like you said, I'm all the relationships, they touch on a lot of stuff in this episode. And again, you brought up Bortus, and it's like how him and his husband are fighting, and then it's like, and he's like, "Oh, you gonna be home for dinner?" Well, I told you we're gonna have late. Well, then we'll just eat alone. It's like, oh, geez, can you stop fighting with me?
I know, that's how it just is, And he even talks to Finn, like, well, he's gaining weight. We're not having relations
The baby he's never quiet. He's always eating, and
I love it, just like a typical relationship.
Because especially with the newborn baby, because the baby needs so much attention.
Again, I love this commenter, but one little point I want to have with the comment is when he's talking about Derulo, I think he was likable. I think I had the opposite.
He was so likable, it was irritating.
Yeah, that's what made it so annoying. Not the fact he was unlikable. He was too likable. And Mercer kept on trying to get a fight with him, but he didn't care.
He almost would have been happy if Derulo would have started yelling back at him.
Yeah.
But he's so laid back, it's infuriating when you're mad and the other person won't be mad at you. I want you to be mad, damn it. Just get mad at me.
Yeah, so I think it was the opposite. That's what made him so irritating. That was kind of the joke.
A little stuck up, a little thing, but it was almost because he's so nice. He's not stuck up in a way that he thinks he's better than you. He's just like above, like, if he says, "Oh, I have the right to have my feelings," but it's true, doesn't it?
I mean, it's not like how the Calvins were, in the second episode where they're like, "Oh, we're superior." No, it's something like that.
So we have Jason Burnswick insinuating that Kelly was under the influence of pheromones when she cheated on Ed during the pilot removes her agency from the act and alters the premise of the show and dynamic between the new main characters. That's true, but like as other commenters brought up, they were on rocks. Yeah. They were rocky. That relationship was rocky before the infidelity happened. Remember, like, when they got stuck together in that zoo? Oh, the way you eat your cereal, like, all the stupid crap, all the little things was coming back.
Yeah, first of all, they remember the good times. They remember, why we're not together. You're thinking, that's what Germans say. Well, you're the king of Frankenberry.
Yeah, beer for breakfast or something like that. So, there was problems, but I guess every relationship has problems.
Yeah.
But that was just like the other commenter said, it was a nail in a coffin.
Yeah.
It just really pushed it to the end. And our last two comments are the same person. Jen Bear, to answer your poll, I don't think Derulo was in heat. There was a year between the affair and Mercer being given the Orville, so that had to have meant about 6 weeks between the episode so far to be 2 years. Plus, the baby's age doesn't indicate the year that's passed either. Yeah, exactly. It hasn't been too long. How long do you think they've been on the Orville?
I would say, because it's weird, because I know in Enterprise sometimes it'll be week apart episodes, so I'm assuming maybe 8 months?
Yeah, something like that.
7 months? I wouldn't think it'd be too long.
Same commenter. I found this episode very hit or miss. There were moments of brilliance and other moments that were meh. Overall, enjoyable episode, but definitely not my top 3. And an opera singing Bortus is something I don't want to imagine. Not that I have to be a moment. There would have been a moment of brilliance. It's so strange, because what if he has like a super squeaky singing voice, like something completely off the wall?
That would be funny.
But that's the last comment. Again, just to reiterate the whole, not to get too serious, because I found this episode to be comedic. But again, like someone brought up the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Oh, yeah.
The whole rape allegation concepts, and then I didn't really see it. It wasn't the focus.
I wasn't trying to get on that. It was funny. I hope this show gets so popular they do get like a CD with Boris's greatest hits.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny? And he's just sitting there all serious. He's still standing there.
Boris sings the hits. It's like,
That would be so funny. Remember, Dana did it with Frank Sinatra songs and changed the names to All Brown Eyes instead of All Blue Eyes.
So silly.
Things like that, yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I'd still buy that CD like in 10 seconds.
It has to be the most boringest cover. He's just standing.
He's just standing there, just perfectly still, just standing there with a microphone. That'd be great.
Just a light microphone, and he just stands
He's
there.
wearing his uniform. It'd be so perfect. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up because that would be just too funny.
But thanks for all the comments, guys.
Yeah.
And the way that some of you guys actually really get more into detail, and you bring up things that I didn't think about.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really cool. I always love that.
That's what we want in these commenters. Not only for you to just comment, which we like the compliments, but we also want you to make us think about things maybe we would have missed or we didn't see it in a certain way. Like, I like that.
Because first it's like, oh, it's easy to forgive Kelly. But then you start thinking about it. Hey, she didn't act the same exact way the first time, so maybe she wasn't. Like, I didn't even think about that.
Or maybe each time it's different.
Yeah, maybe it's
But we
more...
don't know. See, that's the whole mystery of it.
Do you think they'll touch on that again? Do you think we'll ever get a definitive answer? I don't think we will.
I think not until much later in the series. I'm talking 4 or 5 years down the road. We're not going to get it
if it's ever, it's not going to be touched again.
No.
And
anytime soon, at least.
I was the new episode's coming on in a little bit, in a couple hours.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see it.
And that one looks cool. This one looks more like an action episode. Again, they seem to did people brought up that balance of like there's a funny episode then serious and funny.
It
then
just
serious.
reminds me of McFarlane's just showing off at this point. Okay, I could do this kind of episode and do this because he's so good at it. McFarlane he's so versatile.
And in a little bit of bad news, but they're cutting the season short by one episode,
which is bad because there was rumors that a certain person
that Patrick Stewart was going to be in an episode. So they're putting that episode to be the first episode of season 2, and then that's not going to air till like next year.
I think the fall, like September. I'm worried about that. I don't want people to forget about this show. I won't. I'm going to look forward to it, but I don't want other people to move on. It's not Star Trek. It doesn't have that
because
pull.
Discovery's taking its break. Their last episode was last week.
But it's starting up again in
January. They're going to leave that huge 9-month gap of the Orville with nothing.
I don't like that.
I don't like that because I don't want people to forget because it's a good show. It's fun.
Yeah, I want people to continue on watching the show. And if I were Fox, what I would do is I understand, okay, you didn't expect it. I guarantee they didn't expect it to be this big. No. I guarantee it. Because they only made 12 episodes. Well, 13, but now 12 because they're not showing the 13th episode. Why don't they understand? Start filming now and maybe start showing episodes in March and April. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Like a mini break and then stop in June and then show it in September so you give yourself some time to... Because now the formula now for a lot of these shows is taking a mid-break and then come back in the spring at least.
Like, what would I say? The Walking Dead does that.
Gotham does it. All the shows do it now.
I hopefully they... Because again, when I was reading these articles, they're talking about it's a scheduling issue.
Yeah.
Well, let those other shows take a break and bring.
Yeah, no offense. I don't care about the Mick in those shows.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but another show you should watch is Gifted. It's really good. I know it's not what we're talking about, but it's an amazing show.
But yeah, we're gonna have to find something to pick up in the meantime if they do put that big break.
Again, we could do best of episodes. Maybe episodes we like as certain characters, but after that, I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I don't want to keep going to the well when there's nothing there. I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
But again, thanks for all the comments. They're fun, even when they get serious, even when you disagree. We love them. So thanks for everything, guys. Because again, I've always said this every episode. These all about the Orville comment videos can't exist without your comments.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's why we keep doing because we're getting so many good replies to it, and people are watching it, and that's why we do it.
So let people know, like I always say, like, share, comment, let them know, comment on these videos, and we'll read them on the air, and we'll talk about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, but that's what makes sci-fi so fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We don't have to all see things the same way. But I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
I'm N15 PCA.
Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.